So the other day I decided to go on a hike, and in typical LA hiker fashion, I planned the outfit, but I didn't plan for the route. I knew that I was going to be looking cute, but I had no idea how long it was going to take, let alone what the terrain was going to be like. So naturally, I got in the car because Google Maps told me at the end of the trail there was supposed to be a waterfall. And if you know me, I love a waterfall. So I get all the way to the beginning of the hike and I start doing my little thing. And I'm starting to notice that all these people are coming down from seeing the waterfall with biggest smiles on their faces, but wearing all kinds of things. I mean, some people were wearing flip-flops, some people were wearing sandals, some people were wearing tennis shoes. I mean, all kinds of gear they were wearing. And I just kind of looked at what I was wearing and I was like, am I underdressed? Am I overdressed? And it only took me about a quarter of the way there to realize, nope, not underdressed at all, because I was tripping on practically everything. I'm talking about rocks. We're talking about logs. I mean, the terrain was pretty rough. I mean, and when I say rough, we're talking about bulldog rough, right? So I get halfway there and there's another woman that passes me and her legs were tore up. I mean, it looked like she had walked into a room filled with pregnant cats, like that bad. And I stop her and I ask, like, are you okay? Do you need medical attention? And she just smiles and she's like, no, I just happened to go on the wrong path and then got into an entanglement with some bushes and some shrubs. And but I ended up finding my way back and still ended up seeing the waterfall. So yeah, everything's good. And then told me, like what to avoid so I wouldn't happen to do the same thing. I said, thank you. And I kept walking. So now I'm like, 3/4 of the way there and I'm exhausted. I mean, the terrain was pretty rough. It was more than I anticipated. So I took a break and I drank some water and I'm looking out and I'm seeing the magnificence of it all. I mean, the mountains were gorgeous. The sky was beautiful. I mean, the birds were just chirping, singing their happy little song. And then I started to get a little bit self-conscious because the people that were behind me on the hike before were now starting to pass me. And I had to like talk myself out of freaking out because it wasn't like, them seeing the waterfall before me was going to make it suddenly disappear. But for whatever reason, my ego was like, I gotta get there before they do. Nevertheless, I end up picking up my pace. I get back to what I was doing and I'm almost there. And I know I'm almost there because I can hear the waterfall, but I don't see it. And I'm upset because everywhere I look, I can hear the water, but I don't see a single drop anywhere, and that's when some kids start to pass me and they're like, oh, you're almost there. You got like 20 more minutes. And I laugh because I was like, oh, thanks, but in hindsight, I'm like, why would I trust kids? They have no sense of time. They exaggerate everything. But yet 20 minutes is what I thought that it would take to get to see this place. So I'm eager and I'm almost there. And meanwhile, it's been a good 45 minutes at this point. Like it's been a solid, steady journey of laborious hiking up an elevation that I did not consider would be what it was. And before I know it, I turn the corner and I see the waterfall, and it is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I mean, the moss behind the water, just how clear the whole collection of the pool was, just the surroundings, the trees, just hearing all the elements of nature. I mean, I felt like I was in heaven. And I sat down and I did some meditation and I realized just within sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really what life is about. And what I understand in hindsight is that we are all carrying different aspects of ourselves up a perceived path, up a perceived mountain to get to a quote unquote waterfall. And many of us are going to take different ways of getting there. We're going to wear different types of gear to make sure that we get there. We're going to have different perspectives of what the path is going to be like to get there. And sometimes we may stumble. Sometimes we may fall off the path, rough ourselves up a little bit. But we always find our way back. And there may be moments where we have to take a break. We may have to check out for a moment and find gratitude in our surroundings, because genuinely, if we don't, we can get caught up in watching other people pass us by, seemingly, when in reality, we're all going to the same place. We're all going to the waterfall that brings us comfort and peace and serenity, knowing that we worked so hard to get there. And most of all, what I realized is that time is an illusion. There is no gotta get there in 45 minutes. There is no gotta get there in 2 hours. Take your time, because you're gonna get there regardless. I just really appreciated being able to sit there in that space and just see the beauty of what God has given us, whatever your higher power is, and acknowledge that, I'm on my own path. You're on your own path. We're all going to take many ways to get there. And the best we can do for each other is just to encourage and cheer each other on. And I will say, though, on the way back, what was interesting is that I had to really follow my intuition, because I had no idea really how to make it back to my car. Like, everything was unfamiliar to me, because it was all behind me when I was walking forward. And even though I had already walked the path before to get to the waterfall, everything seemed like a brand new landscape. And I think in some ways, for many of us, when we get to where we're going, we still have to climb back down. We still have to get back to base camp and go back home. And that journey in itself can be disorienting and unfamiliar. But whichever way you decide to do it, whether it's with yourself or with a friend, the journey in itself is beautiful, and it's well worth the time. So if you haven't heard it today, know that I love you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.